Chapter 8 of The Car. The highway he took west, I-80, 90, was a toll road. He went through the booth, feeling the man inside was staring at him, and then drove for 2 hours, holding 65, letting the warm wind coming over the top of the windshield and around the sides blow Cleveland somewhere to the rear. When he'd put the dashboard together, it had come with a small map light that had given him problems. It hadn't fit the hole made for it, and he had finally used a round file to enlarge the hole. Then the wire in the harness that came with the kit hadn't been long enough, and he had spliced a piece to make it fit. And the splice hadn't been good enough, and now the light flickered. He turned the light on and worked a hand up in the area of the splice and squeezed it, and the light glowed steadily. Waylon was dozing, and Terry took a moment to study his face in the glow. He seemed happy. Even sleeping, he had a smile in his eyes somehow. Some look that made Terry want to smile as well. Terry was still concerned. He was setting out on a trip across the country with what amounted to a complete stranger. It was crazy, but the whole thing was crazy anyway. What was one more crazy part? Waylon's eyes opened suddenly, and he was looking directly into Terry's eyes. He smiled, or rather his sleeping smile widened. I have done this for so many years, it all seems like one car, one highway, one country. He rubbed his face, looked at his wrist. There was no watch there, but he nodded. About 3 a.m. This is the worst time to drive as far as sleep is concerned. You want me to drive a while? Terry started. Let someone else drive the cat? No, I'll take it. I thought as much. So then, we'll talk. What do you want to talk about? Terry shrugged. A truck moved past him on the highway, and the wind from the trailer of the semi buffeted the cat around. He held it in the center of the lane. How about how we should leave the highway? Waylon asked. Why? It's good road and goes the direction we want to go, and it's patrolled heavily, and you're underage, driving in a car with invalid license plates. And if you get popped, I get popped. It's not new for me. I was detained a few times back in the 60s and 70s, when getting arrested meant you cared. But it might not be so much fun for you. How did you know all that? Terry had actually jerked the wheel in surprise at Waylon's words. I know you're underage because of how you look and how I see things. If you're too young to have a driver's license, the plates probably aren't valid. I know you haven't been arrested because we've met 3 state patrol cars and you didn't notice any of them. If you've ever been arrested, you always see police. We did? Terry turned and looked back. Are they still around? No. They were going the other way, but it might be a good idea to get off the toll road and travel the back highways. Toll roads suck. I kind of like them, Terry said. They're so nice and wide. You don't see anything. Don't learn anything. Waylon put his arm out to the side and directed a stream of air against his face. You don't learn, you die. Terry said nothing. Thought about what Waylon had said. A sign said there was an exit for a state highway in 1 mile. How about that road? Will that take us where we want to go? Where do you want to go? West, Terry gestured with his chin. To Portland, Oregon. He pointed across Waylon. There's a small road atlas in the pocket on the door. Why don't you check on the map and see? Waylon nodded. Take the exit. We'll work it out from there. Terry turned off the toll road and came to a booth. He had 50 cents and drove through, feeling this man was staring as well. And after a mile and a half, pulled off onto a side road. What have you found? Waylon had the map under the little map light, tracing a line with his finger. It goes for 8 or 10 miles and then turns into a country road. But if we cut west for 20 miles or so, it becomes another state highway, not a toll road. It all seems to work west, Terry yawned. I'm getting kind of tired. Waylon nodded. Maybe we better grab some sleep, and then I'll cook breakfast, and we can get started on a full stomach. It's nicer to run in the day. You see more. Learn more, Terry smiled. I know. See? Waylon leaned back in the seat and closed his eyes. You're learning already. Terry looked at him for a moment, then leaned back as well and closed his own eyes. In less than 5 seconds, he was asleep. And that's the end of chapter 8.